The family structure's just done. Like, you've literally got women that are just here just for the money for men. They just want the money, whether that be a baby mother, whether that be a wife. Divorce has become a business. You know, women are having divorces so they can take people's or their ex-husbands' monies. The whole structure of the West, the whole structure is just done.
I'm going to read you some divorce settlements, right? So Melinda Gates, when her and Bill Gates divorced, she's now worth 6.7 billion. Mackenzie Scott, who is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, she's now worth 27.9 billion. Nicole Young, who is Dr. Dre's ex-wife, she's now worth 100 million. So women get a lot of money from these divorces, and men get to kind of see their empire slashed in half and crumble.
I don't know. I guess there's kind of like a little bit of like an after rush after being in a relationship for a long time, and you get out of it, whether, you know, it was you or the other person stopping it. There is just like this thing where you were low for however long you were low for, but then at one point when you get out of that, you do feel almost like new kind of again. I don't know. It's just like, it obviously depends on how close you were with the person, but for example, me recently, I felt better also because the relationship was really toxic, but I felt better getting out of it, you know, after going through like that part where it was hurting. It's like, yeah, I felt like almost like reborn.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe it does relates to like women getting out of, you know, this kind of relationship, maybe feeling trapped, or maybe they don't love the person anymore for whatever reason, you know?
It's because women think of marriage like relationships. It's like, even when you look at relationships, girlfriends are more likely to leave anyway.
Yeah, like, yeah. Same as with divorces, yeah.
Yeah, they're conditioned to like just leave. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if the going gets tough, just leave.
Do you think it has always been like that? Or do you think that is now the society nowadays? It portrays like, oh, if he ain't doing what you want him to do,
you leave, girl.
Go get your bag, do this, do everything for yourself.
Because I just said, I think hypergamy is on steroids. I think hypergamy has always been a thing, but I think hypergamy is currently on steroids. I think the monkey branching is like a woman, like right now, any woman here, I probably can go into your DMs right now and there's a guy in there trying it. Women have always got guys trying to shoot their shot. Jess, you just had a guy say, if you want a man, right? You got a man in what, North Carolina or something? Was it, Pearl? Did you say?
Northern California.
Northern California. Like, women have always got guys throwing themselves at them. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, that whole, if he's not doing it, I've got someone else in Northern California that will do it for me. Do you know what I'm saying? So women have always got a guy in the background somewhere. There's always someone sniffing around your vagina.
You feel like what we're going through is the feminization of society. And that's no stab at women, but there is a role for men.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is the eradication of the role that men traditionally play. Because if a man can be a woman, he can't be masculine no more. No. Like you and I would be considered toxic men.
Correct.
Because we have traditional, typically conservative values.
Correct.
That are congruent with men from 50, 60 years ago, which are nowhere near where we're at today. You know, even when it comes to women of today, you know, I long for women from a bygone era. I say this a lot. I wish women were more like my nan rather than what we're seeing today. Because with the emasculation of men, you have the masculine, I don't know if that's the right word, masculinization of women. You have women becoming more masculine and taking on this boss bitch attitude. I don't need a man. I can do what I want. And with the roles reversed, then you get that confusion.
Yes.
And with the confusion comes people with that Machiavellian mindset going, well, I'm going to control all of you motherfuckers. And you ain't going to see it coming.
Of course. So, but the thing is, my whole thing is, because I'd like to go for the why, what benefit does it do for society to feminize the men?
I always say follow the money. You know, a lot of places that are controlling the way we think are subscribed to the groups that we complain about. And it's radical elements. It's not the groups in particular. It's not the gays, and it's not the women. It's the radical elements of those groups that support the gays and the women, if that makes any sense. So
you know what I think it is? I think a feminized society is easier to control.
Absolutely.
And I think the West is a society that is all about control. And so the best way to, if you and I were feminized, when they come to bring in whatever law, you know what I mean, whatever statute that they want to bring in, you and I would be less likely to fight against that, because we're feminized, because we know agreeability, disagreeability. We know that men are more disagreeable, right? So when you have an agreeable society, it's easier to bring in the laws and the statutes that you want, and it's easier to control that society.
It is, and you find that people that stand up against some of the tyranny that I think that governments over the past few years have tried to implement, even with the COVID stuff, you find that the people that stand up and say, well, hold on, I'm not disagreeing with what you're doing, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about what you're doing.
Yes.
They become the enemy.
Yes.
And it's not, they're not enemies. Like, you know a bit about my story. Like, I wasn't the enemy of the state for saying to the government they're going too far. It's been proven 2 years later, after I quit the Tories on the telly, that I was right.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah,
by their own admission, they've set themselves up and scored their own goals on their own. And when you have people that are willing to stand up, you're always going to get labelled.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a left wing trope, as you know. It's a Marxist trope to go, oh, well, you must be racist or sexist or whatever the case may be.
Listen,
but really, I just want to find the truth.
I've been called a racist. I've been called a misogynist. I've been called all kinds of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But the defense is, we don't have an argument. So what we're going to do is we're just going to throw every single buzzword at you and see which one sticks. We're just going to see which one sticks.
Define misogyny.
Misogyny is... They're gonna get us off guard. I just woke up. I don't know.
Okay, exactly.
They're gonna catch us off guard.
Do you know who Andrew Tate is?
I'm sorry?
Andrew Tate.
Yes.
What are your opinions on him?
He's stupid.
I'm guessing you don't like him?
No, I don't.
Why don't you like him?
Because he says a lot of stupid stuff, like especially about women. Like he just like really degrades women, and he just says stuff. I feel like he says stuff to get like a reaction out of people, but he's just dumb.
You don't like him because he's dumb?
Yeah.
So he says they're the most precious things on the planet.
That wants this ship to burn, just so people can see that people. I'm not hating on anyone, because people think that I hate women. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't hate women. I hate the fact that modern day women have been sold the idea that they don't need men. That's what I hate. I hate the fact that you've been stupid enough as women to be sold the idea that you don't need a man in your life. You've bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Now, a lot of the time women say, oh, well, men used to abuse us. Yeah, there are abusive men out there. There are very abusive men out there. But when you get abused, who do you call? You call a man. A good one. So there are also good men, there are also bad men. There are more good men than there are bad men, in my personal point of view. Because if you look around, I'm looking around right now. I'm looking at all of the infrastructure that I can see, like the lights and, you know, like the cars, and all built by men. Men aren't bad. But society has actually convinced women that men are these horrible monsters that shouldn't be around. I've literally posted videos of women saying, oh, kill all men, and we don't need to birth any more men. I'm just like, what are you gonna work the oil rigs? Like, is that what you're gonna do? Okay, cool. Are you gonna be the fireman? Are you gonna be the policeman? Really?